Camper True Crime Podcast. My name is Amy. Welcome to my show. I hope everyone is having a good morning. Welcome to my first car live. I've never done a car live before, but I had to get up very early this morning and drive into Little Rock. I'm here at the neurology clinic in Little Rock. I'm getting Botox injections for my chronic headaches. I've suffered from chronic headaches since I was in the 10th grade, and they've done nothing but gotten worse over the years. And, doctors have tried different things and whatnot, and, I can't keep taking BC powder anymore. That shit's been killing me for 20 years. So, I've got to try, something different. And I'm really hoping that this will help me. It's either going to get rid of my headaches or I'm not going to have any wrinkles in my head, one of the two. But anyway, it has been a very eventful week. And busy week. Monday, I didn't find out till 5:30 in the morning that there would be a press conference in Alma, Arkansas regarding the disappearance of Morgan Nick. For those of you that have followed my channel for very long, I am a lifelong Arkansan. It's the Arkansas cases that are so near and dear to me. And one of my top 10 cases of all cases in the world that I want to see solved before I die is the disappearance of Morgan Nick. Morgan Nick was a little girl who was kidnapped in the mid-90s from a ballpark in Alma, Arkansas. And, it's been a long investigation over the years, and lots of, twists and turns, but we've never found hide nor hair of Morgan Nick, any trace of her, and did not know for years what happened to her and who took her. Because this situation was a definite kidnapping. Morgan was kidnapped. But Monday, the Alma Police Department had a press conference to announce a major update in the disappearance of Morgan Nick. If I had had more time to plan, I would have been there. I would have gone to Alma Monday, but unfortunately, like I said, I didn't find out about it until 5:30 in the morning, which would have been the time I needed to be leaving my house. So there just wasn't enough time for me to prepare to, throw my crap in the car and drive, from my place to Alma and get there on time by the time the press conference started. Like I said, this case is so near and dear to me, the disappearance of Morgan Nick. And, I want answers to this little girl's disappearance before I die. And we are one step closer to figuring out and finding out what exactly did happen to Morgan Nick. There was a Hulu special made called Still Missing Morgan. If you haven't watched it yet, please watch it on Hulu. It's called Still Missing Morgan. It was done a couple of years ago, and the documentary ends with the police finding the current owner of a truck that belonged to a man back in the 90s named Billy Jack Links. Billy Jack Links was suspected of kidnapping Morgan, and he was questioned. He attempted to kidnap an 11-year-old little girl off a street. I believe it was like 10, 11 weeks after Morgan's abduction. It was a failed kidnapping. The child was able to get home to her parents and told them what happened. He was found and questioned, and he was ended up going to the pen. Excuse me, I spit everywhere. Going to the pen, and but he was questioned by the police about Morgan's disappearance, and he claimed to have no knowledge of Morgan Nick's disappearance, didn't know anything about her. Well, now we know that was a lie. Excuse me. Now we know that was a lie. Billy Jack Links died in prison, unfortunately, in 2000. So we will never be able to prosecute him for Morgan's disappearance. Good morning, old lady O. I'm so glad to see you. Girl, things have been crazy with me too. October, horror month, Halloween month, but October for me and my family, it's always been kind of a jinxy, bad month. And literally Monday when I got up, like I said, not only was I not going to be able to make it to Alma for the press conference in time, plus it being the first of the month, I've got those first of the month errands to do and run and whatnot. And shit, now I almost wish I'd have just thrown my crap in the car and a ball cap on and went to Alma, because my trip to town was awful. And things are just crazy. And these past few days have just been, I'm so irritable. And it's just been crazy, and me running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and just, lots to do, lots going on, and so much negative vibe in the atmosphere right now. I am just cuckoo crazy, like, I'm just so irritable, and I can't stand going out into public anymore. I'm sick of Walmart shit. I'm sick of people's shit, and I just rather be home alone in the peace and quiet where I don't have to see anybody, talk to anybody. Now, like I said, that doesn't mean everyone, but the general public, like I said, there's just such a negative vibe out here in the world with everything that's going on, and I'm just irritable as I can be. And my little Ellie Mae is sick, and I've got to take her to the vet tomorrow. So, she's getting old. I lost Smoke a couple of years ago, and she's old, and I'm not ready to lose. I'm certainly not ready to lose her. Not right now. This too much going on right now to lose her right now. And she's, bless her heart, she's been through so much in her little life that. So just say a prayer for little Ellie Mae, my little Chihuahua min pin. She always closes out my shows. and that she's, hopefully gonna be all right. But back to talking about Morgan Nick. when they did this Hulu special and they came out with this information about Billy Jack Links, it all made sense. Everything finally all made sense. From day one, they knew they had, of course, they had a description of the man from the children that were playing with Morgan and saw the man that she was talking to. The one there've been like two sketch artist photos done many years ago of the suspect, and there's one of them that when you look at it now, it looks like a younger Billy Jack Links. He did own a red truck with a white camper shell. And as I said, attempted to abduct another little girl who was 11. Morgan was 6. This little girl was 11. And and he attempted, it was a failed attempt, thank God. And they caught him quickly and sent him in prison. Well, the investigation now has also uncovered a couple of other attempted abductions in the area. And the man seen fits the description of Billy Jack Links. So when the Hulu special came out in 2022, I guess, God, the time has passed by. I don't know where it goes. It seems like COVID, things have just been weird. But anyway, when they came, I knew that was the only thing that made sense. And I knew that he had to be the one. He had to be the one. And so the Hulu special ends with the police getting in contact with the current owner of Billy Jack Links' old truck that he had at the time, that was seen at the scene of all these kidnappings and attempted kidnappings and whatnot, and were able to obtain DNA. They found a hair sample, or they found a hair and some other things. They tested it against Colleen Nick, Morgan Nick's mother, and sure enough, it was a match. So we now know for sure that Billy Jack Links kidnapped little Morgan Chauntel Nick, 6 years old, of Alma, Arkansas, from the Alma ballpark. He is the prime suspect, the only suspect. DNA links him to Morgan. Morgan was in that truck. Unfortunately, that's all we know. We have no idea what he did to her. Thank you, old lady. Oh, yes, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, because I want to try to build my channel back up into a small following. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing cases full time anymore, but these cases that I've been following for 25 and 30 years, I'm going to see these cases through till the end of time, through the end of my days. I will never stop wanting justice for many of these cases that I've followed over the years. And the disappearance of Morgan Nick is one that has always been near and dear to me. Morgan was kidnapped in 95. John Ramsey was found dead in her home in 96. My oldest daughter, Ashley, was their age. And what's bizarre is my oldest daughter and I did pageants, and we were in the same pageant system as JonBenet Ramsey. We never competed against JonBenet because we never went to, we did not go to nationals. We went to the Arkansas State pageant, but we did not go to the nationals pageant. So we never competed against JonBenet Ramsey. We would have, possibly, because like I said, she was in the same pageant system. But I've got pageant pictures of Ashley, side by sides of Ashley and JonBenet, and they're so eerily look so much alike, so similar. The only difference is JonBenet's hair was a white blonde rather than a dishwater blonde. Ashley's hair is naturally dishwater blonde, and so that those two cases really hit me hard, and I'll say it again for the 1,000,000th time. I'm begging for Boulder, Colorado. Test that DNA. Send that DNA to Colleen Fitzpatrick, the guru of genetic DNA testing. Send it to her. Please. Let's solve JonBenet Ramsey's case. Please. And like I said, back to Morgan, unfortunately, what happened after she got in that truck with Billy Jack Links, we have no clue. We don't know what he did with her, where he took her, if she, how do I say this delicately, if she stayed in his care for any length of time. You know what I'm saying? Did he keep her for a while? There was, like I said, an 8 to 10 week period between Morgan's abduction and the attempted abduction of the 11-year-old girl in his hometown of Van Buren. This guy actually was not from Alma. He was from Van Buren, which is just, right down the road. Anyway, we don't know if she's deceased. We don't know if she's alive. We don't know, and if she is deceased, where he hid her remains, or anything. The police have been in contact with his family, with what I guess what's left of his family, and there have been searches on his property. I don't know how much, how in depth. I know that they've checked a house in Oklahoma, I believe, which was, if I'm not mistaken, I think there had been another person abducted that had been held in that home, and there was reason to believe that Morgan might have been there. I'm not really sure, but over the years, with finding some of these missing kids still alive, such as the little blonde-headed girl that was missing for many years. Oh, Lady O, help me out. She's the blonde, and she does a lot of advocacy work now for missing and kidnapped kids and human trafficking and things like that. it just terrifies me to think the horror that little Morgan possibly endured. In fact, I know she endured. Let's just not even lie about it. Let's just not even try to, deny it. She was taken from her family, her parents, her brothers, sister, and never had the opportunity to grow up. Her last moments, it's just, it's unbearable. But at least, even if we don't ever find her or her remains, at least we know who did it. And while he never was convicted in a court of law for her kidnapping and possible murder, he did do his time in the penitentiary for another crime and died in prison. So again, here we go back to that funny old word called justice. Yes, and that is true. And they always, they say that the truth will be known in the end. The Bible says the truth will be known in the end. And God forbid, so much truth is coming out in so many circumstances. All this mess going on with Diddy. I had intentions of doing a show about Diddy. This mess with him, it's not about his sexcapades and whatnot. The reason why I want to see Diddy fry is for a lot of other things. Aside from all these 150 million new charges he's got and accusations and 120 people filing charges against him and probably more to come. And I mean, this is going to be, if this election don't take the world down, Diddy's tapes and freak off parties is probably going to take half the world down, at least Hollywood. Some politicians, we've already had some politicians arrested that was mixed up with Diddy. So, but at least we know for sure now that it was Billy Jack Links that took Morgan. Like I said, it would be wonderful to, be able to find, of course, it would be amazing to find her alive, but it would be amazing, to be able to find her remains and give her a proper burial so that her family can give her a proper goodbye. The city of Alma can give her a proper goodbye. The state of Arkansas can give her a proper goodbye because, all of us growing up here in Arkansas, in the 90s, of course, I was an adult then, but, my kids know about Morgan Nick. My kids know about Kevin and Don. My kids know about the West Memphis 3, I mean, all of it, but to never have any kind of closure at all, you've got no body to bury, you've got no grave to go to, you've got, it just, I cannot imagine that pain and anguish. And, you see Colleen Nick still breaking down talking about her daughter. Almost 30 or 29 years. This past June was 29 years. But it's kind of funny, some of these other parents with missing kids, don't see any tears out of those people. I wonder why that is. Katie, Chris, why is that? I don't know. Yeah, too many opened what's. Yeah, see, I did not know about, excuse me just a minute. I did not know about these other 2 attempted kidnappings in the area around the same time Morgan was abducted and this other little girl was attempted to be abducted. There were 2 other attempted abductions. And like I said, I didn't know about those till recently. There's been a lot of things, Alma police, they've never given up. The little bitty town of Alma, Arkansas, up in the Ozarks, they have never forgot about it, and they've never stopped working to find that child. And Colleen Nick, a year after Morgan's abduction, created the Morgan Nick Foundation. She helps other families, where there were some downfalls and setbacks, like in the Adam Walsh case. Morgan Nick's case is much like Adam Walsh's case in that the police have suspected for years, actually, that Billy Jack Links kidnapped Morgan. The same as Otis O'Toole was suspected for many years of being the abductor and murderer of Adam Walsh. But it took, years and years to try and prove it. And it wasn't until after Otis O'Toole was died in prison as well that they finally came out and conclusively stated that Otis O'Toole did kidnap Adam Walsh and kill him. So that's similar now to what has happened with Morgan, is that Billy Jack Links went to prison for another crime and died, and it's taken this long to prove that it was him. So, but it's better than not having any answers at all, or not knowing at all. And the men are deceased. As I said, Billy Jack Links is deceased. He died in prison. Otis O'Toole is deceased. So you can't, it's not like you can dig these people up and throw them in a court of law and try them for these crimes. But so would I wish the death penalty on Billy Jack Links? You better damn well believe I do. I would have wished the death penalty on him. I don't have a bit of problem with the death penalty. When it comes to certain crimes and certain types of cases, I don't have a bit of problem with the death penalty. But I need to know for sure that that person is guilty of that crime. There cannot be any doubt whatsoever that a person is guilty of a crime. But this man was a predator. Billy Jack Links was a predator. Otis O'Toole was a predator. There ain't nothing to do with people like that except fry him in the electric chair. That's exactly what should have happened to him. But, they did die in prison. So again, like I said, here we go back to that weird word of justice. and what is justice, and how you get justice, and who gets the death penalty, who don't, who, it's just a weird word, and sometimes you just got to take justice the only way you can get it. If that's how, for some reason, God saw fit for that justice, I don't know. I was told a long time ago, after one of my friends was murdered, that God does things that we may not always understand, but know that he has a reason for doing the things that he does. Like I said, we may not always understand it. We may not always think it's fair. We may even be angry with God because he allows this, or does this to us. Like, God and I argue like an old married couple. We do. We argue about 5 or 6 times a day. And yeah, exactly, old lady. Oh, but I tell you, he, like I said, he and I argue like an old married couple. We argue about 4 or 5 times at least a day. Why are you doing this? Why, what is the point of this? Why do I have to suffer? Why does so-and-so have to suffer, or whatever, there's a lesson. There is always a lesson to learn from these cases. What's the lesson we learned from Gabby Petito's death? Domestic violence. Recognizing domestic violence. Recognizing that you're in a domestic violence relationship. And that you're in a relationship with someone like Brian Laundrie, who is jealous of you, who wants to cut you off from your friends, who wants to cut you off from your family, who, who's not supportive of you, or you having a job or a career or anything like that. But domestic violence was what we learned from Gabby Petito. We've learned that there's a problem, a serious problem, with Child Protective Services in returning these kids back to these horrible parents, drug-addicted parents and alcoholic parents that lost them in the first place, but yet they're taking them away from good foster parents and giving them back to these families, and these families are killing them. Jordan Beliveau, there is not a day goes by that I don't think about that little boy. Every day. Oh God, yes. CPS. And I tell you what, if I had the opportunity I would have to have this conversation with Donald Trump and JD Vance. There's no way I could have this conversation with Kamala Harris, because I can't even stand to hear that woman's voice, much less try to have a conversation, an intelligent conversation with her. But that is the one thing that's, something that's not being discussed in all the mess in this world, is that we've got all these 3-letter agencies. Now, we've been talking about the FDA and the CIA and all their dirty dealings, and Fauci, and and I don't trust any 3-letter entity anymore at all. These people just do not have our best interest at heart. But nobody, we're all talking about, DEA stuff and DEI stuff, and abortion and what is a man and what is a woman and stupid shit. You know, we're not talking about the things that are important. You know, we're talking about the inflation, the high cost of living, but nothing's happening. You go to the store every month and the prices are just going up and up and up and up and up. I wanted to get some, this is no joke, old lady. I have been craving pistachio ice cream. Pistachio ice cream was Mama Ruby's favorite ice cream. When we would go to Baskin and Robbins, she would always get a cone with pistachio. My mama would get buttered pecan. And my favorite was daiquiri ice. But I've been craving for some pistachio ice cream. And if you go to Walmart, you know that there is a whole wall full of ice cream flavors and brands. Some of them are reasonably priced, some of them aren't. Unfortunately, the only brand that had pistachio ice cream was Bluebell. That shit is $8.32 a gallon. $8.32 for a gallon of pistachio ice cream. Jesus. Yeah, that's highway robberies, we say here in the South. Definitely highway. Definitely highway robbery. And I'm so fed up with what they've done to Walmart. And you know, it's one thing to be a chronic pain patient and be treated like a drug addict. Now, when I go grocery shopping, I'm being treated like a thief. Like you're standing over me to make sure I'm not stealing something rather than providing customer service to me. And I cannot stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. And needless to say, I lost my shit in Walmart the other day and just went off, you know, because I can't stand being treated like that. I can't stand to go out in public and just have strangers just be mean for no reason. Just be mean. Like people are in the store and they think they're the only ones in there. They think they're the only ones that've got to shop and get what they need. They're mowing you down. No one's got any respect for disabled people on carts. Those people that are there getting groceries, you know, that you pre-order and then you pick up out in the parking lot. You've got all these workers all over the store that are loading these bins up, you know, for these people that are pre-shopping to come pick their stuff up, while you've got people in the store doing their physically doing their shopping, and we're getting mowed down by these blue carts being pushed around, and they will not get out of your way. They will not get out of your way. And something I was taught when I worked in fast food was that the dine-in customers come first before the drive-through. So common sense kind of tells me that shouldn't the people in Walmart physically doing their own shopping come first before people who have pre-ordered their stuff to pick up later? I get it. People work. People don't have time to do stuff. They're busy shuffling kids to school and football practice and cheerleading and all that. I get it. But when people can't even go in a store and shop because the employees are just horrible. And then, like I said, then you've got the negative, rude ass people in public. I mean, I get so many stares, so many snarky looks, dirty looks, people even saying stuff to me out loud about looking at me on a riding cart. Sure, yeah, I have pink hair. Sure, yeah, I wear rock concert t-shirts. You know, I may have Motley Crue on the front of my shirt. I may have Tupac. I may have Eazy-E. I may have Papa Roach or the Rolling Stones or Nirvana or, you know, that's all I wear. Throw me on a pair of sweatpants in the wintertime and a rock band t-shirt or some type of nostalgic type t-shirt with something on, you know, on the front of it and or pair of shorts, and hey, I'm good. I'm happy. Walmart throws out food that Spark drivers couldn't deliver perfectly. Oh, I know. There is a woman, I don't know if you're into this kind of thing, oh lady, oh, but of course I love thrift stores and yard sales and things like that. And there's this girl that I follow here on YouTube. Her name is Salty Stella. She's a dumpster diver. The stuff that woman gets at a dumpster, I don't know where she lives, because if you get caught dumpster diving around here, they'll arrest you. But apparently wherever she lives, she's able to do it. And man, the stuff that she gets out of dumpsters is unreal. And these chain stores throw out, they'll cut up a Gucci purse and throw it in the dumpster before they'll give it to a women's shelter, you know? And it just doesn't make any sense that oh, I mean, like I said, a lot of the stuff she pulls out of these dumpsters is amazing. Like, if she had a store, she would have a thrift store like nobody's business. I think she may do online sales. I don't know, but yeah, she is really cool, and I really like her. She's a cool girl. She's got dreads. Just seems like she's the sweetest girl. But yeah, go check out her videos. Her name is Salty Stella, and she's a dumpster diver. But yeah, I get tired of that mess, being judged by my looks. I've been judged by my looks for many, many, many years. You know, it's like you wear a mini skirt, you're a slut. You know, or you wear short shorts and you're a hoe, you know, and just, yes, Salty Stella is her name. I think it's at Salty Stella is her YouTube name or whatever. But yeah, I get tired of that, you know, and I don't know what you're looking for. Are you looking for, do I need a cast on my arm or on my leg? Do I need, you know, scars up and down my legs? What is it going to take to, you know, like I said, I just get tired of it. And I've even told people, I'm like, my driver's license states that I'm disabled. You know, would you like to see my driver's license? Not that I should have to show it to you, but I'll be more than happy to. Just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So is there anything new going on that I'm not aware of, old lady O? I know, of course, you know, the big news all over social media now, you know, is all about Diddy and everything. And I do intend on doing a show about all that, because For me, this is not just about Diddy and what he's done. Um, there's more to it, and this goes back much further for me, um, to the very beginning. Actually, to the very beginning of gangsta rap, all the way back to Ruthless Records, Eazy-E and Jerry Heller, NWA. That's where it starts for me, and then it moves to Death Row with Suge Knight and Bad Boy with Puff Daddy. And, the murders of Tupac and Biggie, the mysterious death of Eazy-E. I'm still not sold on him contracting AIDS through sexual intercourse. Not that it wasn't a high probability, because Eazy was very sexually promiscuous. But the way it all happened, there was something far more sinister at work. And there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And that's what I want to do is for me to talk about it and get it, just kind of get it all off my chest and get it out in the open, is to go back to the very beginning and talk about all these murders and deaths and people's lives ruined and destroyed, from the very beginning of gangster rap, and how it all ties together, how it all ties to the same people, how it all ties to these record producers and executives and these people that are part of this satanic mess, that we've been hearing about for years. You ever looked into the Bohemian Grove? These freak-off parties of Diddy's were the same thing that goes on at Bohemian Grove with our politicians, the Clintons, the Bushes, the upper echelon of the elite. And, in fact, when Donald Trump first announced that he was going to run for president back in 2015 or 14, whenever it was, I wasn't for sure about him. When my friend Michaela first brought it up to me, and said, I think I'm going to vote for Trump, and all this. And I'm like, seriously, I don't know about all that. And so when it became a high probability that he would be the Republican nominee, I was like, okay. And, him running against Hillary Clinton, no way, shape, fashion, form, it will be a cold day in hell before I would ever vote for Hillary Clinton. But one of the first things I did into my research of Donald Trump was to see if he was a member of the Bohemian Grove and if he was accepted at Bohemian Grove. Well, I quickly found out that he was not. He was not accepted by people at Bohemian Grove. He was not a part of Bohemian Grove. None of that stuff. So that was my first, okay. We're on a good track here, Yeah, after the Epstein, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. We are in a crisis mode. Our whole country is literally in crisis mode. We've got this important presidential election coming up, and it is a do or die election. God forbid what is going to happen. Actually, regardless of who gets elected, there is going to be chaos in the streets. We're on the verge of going to war. I worry about my son-in-law every day, that they're going to ship him off over there. And I don't want that for my daughter. And I sure don't want that for, my son-in-law. I've been through this. I had boyfriends and stuff over in the Middle East and whatnot, and in the war in Iraq and all that, I don't want that for my daughter. Yes, my son-in-law signed up to defend his country, and he was a part of the group that went into Afghanistan to get those people out of there. He does what the military tells him to do. He does what his peers tell him to do. But for an incompetent man that can't even form a sentence, to be making decisions regarding my son's life and the rest of the military, no, you better get somebody in there that knows what the hell they're doing. Because this shit is fixing to hit the fan. Putin's not backing down. Israel's not backing down. Ukraine's not it is full blown. They're killing leaders over there. Several of their, I guess, the leaders in these terrorist groups, or I don't really know, are being killed and stuff, and the missile strikes and blah, 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 blah. And then we've had Putin, who has endorsed Kamala Harris. Yet, him and Trump were on good terms. So why is he endorsing Kamala Harris? Because he wants to continue the war. And he knows if Trump comes in, he won't be able to continue it. I think it's all too far gone now. At this point, I don't think there's any turning back. I don't think if you put Donald Trump in there today, that this war would stop. Yeah. We need to stop being future cooked frogs in a pot of going, no doubt. Yeah, the threats from China. Yeah. Do you still remember 9/11? Do you still remember that morning? I remember that morning clear as day. Don't remember what I did yesterday. Don't remember. Can't keep up with my keys, my purse, my cigarettes, my lighter, my phone. But I can remember every detail of the morning of 9/11. And to think about that happening again is just absolutely unbearable. But I do believe that if we even make it to the election, and depending on what happens with Trump and whether or not if they're going to actually send him to jail, because the Supreme Court just came back and said he's not immune to all this. And what it seems to me about more about their issue with him is debating on the 2020 election and whether it was stolen. I'm saying it. They stole the 2020 election. There's no way 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. If there's 81 million people in this world that damn stupid, my best bet is to stay home in the backwoods of Arkansas and not go out in public. I don't know. I live too far out to have food delivered, so But the store down the street's always there, so I guess if I have to live off their food, I will. But yeah, he never came out of his basement. He was too busy in his basement talking to that whore Cardi B. Well, she's a real role model, isn't she? Ugh. Anyway, yeah. But there's I'm not looking forward to the holidays. I don't even right now, ain't even thinking about celebrating the holidays this year. I see the Christmas stuff being put out at the store, Thanksgiving and everything, and I'm just like, are we even going to have Christmas? It just, but all this, everything that's going on for me has really worked on my nerves and anxiety really bad. And I'm just kind of a basket case, I guess you could say, like all the time. But it helps to, talk and at least get things off my chest, because I know I can't be the only person that feels this way, that's just dealing with so much anxiety and depression from what's going on in the world, what the future holds, what the rest of the year holds, and 2020 and just 2025. I live my life day to day. What is it Dom said? I live my life a quarter mile at a time, and for those 10 seconds I'm free. Well, I live my life out in the backwoods of Arkansas with no one around, and that's the only time I feel free. And even then, part of me doesn't feel completely free. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. I had to, of course, I don't live in my hometown anymore that I grew up in, but I had to come through there this morning, coming to Little Rock, and I stopped at my favorite donut shop. Hadn't been able to go in a while, so I did stop in and get some donuts. And on my way home, I'm gonna stop by and cemetery and talk to my mama for a while and take her some flowers and stuff like that. And but I do have to drive through my hometown in order to get to Little Rock, and I drive through there, and it's just like nothing ever changes. Yet even before I moved, and part of my reason for leaving was because I had felt like a stranger in my own hometown. The hometown that I grew up in, everybody knew me. I knew everybody. My family, and many other families. That's just the way it was. And now I just drive through there. All my family's gone. My grandparents are gone. My mama's gone. Most of my family's gone. And all the bad memories of everything that happened and all, it's just it's depressing. It's very depressing to even have to, whether it's, like I said, go home, or not go home, but go home to Saline County and for any reason or whatever. It's just sad, and especially if I'm driving through, if I'm in Alexander and I hear a train, I jump 10 feet in the air. It's just automatic trauma reaction, when I hear a train come through there. And just an automatic reaction, but it's yeah, it's depressing. And God forbid I hate driving in Little Rock traffic. Morning traffic going to Little Rock. I haven't worked, let's see, in the early 90s, I worked at Sears. I worked in the team department at Sears. And so I would have to be there, at like 9 o'clock in the morning. But most all the other time I was working in nightclubs and stuff. So I didn't have to drive that, morning gridlock traffic every day. But I did when I worked at Sears. And let me tell you, there is no amount of money you could pay me to drive through that shit every day now. No way. And they're doing so much road construction. Once you get into Saline County, they're doing so much road construction, and I hate retaining walls. Those things scare the shit out of me. And there's retaining walls from the time you get into Saline County to the time you practically get out of it almost. At least through Benton. It is. And I hate that. Because they're still doing a bunch of road construction there at the Haskell exit. So that's all that mess is still screwed up and whatnot. And I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Well, I'm going to have to get in here. It's time for me to go in. Like I said, I got here a little early, because, you never know what you're going to run into, in this morning traffic. So, I ended up getting here a little early, and I thought, well, this would be a good time for me to pass some time away and be able to talk about Morgan and, let my followers know about, the update in her case. Like I said, case is 29 years old, and we're still, searching for answers and searching for the truth as to what happened to Morgan, Chauntel, Nick. When they did the Hulu special, there was talk about him possibly having maybe spent time in Tennessee. And back, during the Summer Wells case, I even said, hey, those of you that are following the Summer Wells case that live in Tennessee, ask your parents, ask your grandparents, ask your aunt and uncle, show them their picture. Hey, did you ever happen to know a man named Billy Jack Links? You ever live in this area? Anything? You never know. But like I said, he lived in when he got out of the mill. I guess when he got out, the war. He moved from Texas to Van Buren, Arkansas, and like I said, the police are still very tight-lipped on details in this case. They give kind of vague answers, and like I said, maybe it's because they want to keep, they have to keep some things for, close to the vest and whatnot. But, if any, again, people in Tennessee, it's not going to hurt you to ask. You have nothing to lose, and it's not going to cost you a dime to ask your grandparents, ask an old uncle or somebody. Hey, did you ever happen to know this man? Does this man look familiar to you? You never know when the right person is going to come along that maybe knew him. You too, old lady. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you got to come in, and I'm glad I got to talk to you. And hit me back up on Facebook. I'm glad you were able to find me on Facebook, so that we could communicate, because you're somebody that I've always liked here, and certainly want to be able to talk to, talk to you more on the side, as I do, a few other people here on YouTube that I've met. But have a good day. I'm going to go in here and get a bunch of needles crammed in my head. So cross your fingers, all goes well. But anyway, everyone, have a wonderful day, and I will be seeing you again soon. And please remember, be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Peace out, everybody. Have a good day.